Hey guys, Francis7 here. So in today's video I'm going to be talking about my pedal board. It's something some of you guys have asked me about before, whether it be the pedal board itself or the signal chain. There's the pedals that are going into it. So without further ado, here's my pedal board. So here's the full thing. I've propped it up onto a chair just so it's easier to see. So I guess I'll go through the pedals first, and then I can talk a bit about the construction of the actual board underneath. So signal chain goes as follows. The first pedal I go through is this Dunlop Crybaby wah pedal. It's the classic one. I always forget the model. I think it's GCF 95 or something. So it goes there. From there it goes into the Boss Noise Suppressor NS2. This is a super useful pedal, especially with people that have like high gain pedals and things like that. It really helps with the feedback, especially during practice, and it also helps a bit with hum coming from the mains, and in some gigs where you have not too steady power or whatever, this can really come in handy. So the way the signal goes from there, part of it goes straight out, so without any filtering. I guess I can go through that first. So the first part goes into the digital delay DD7. Another Boss pedal, which I set as follow. This pedal, I use it not only for delay, but I do use a bit of it for various effects when you combine it with wah everything. So I set it like that. Then it goes into the Polytune 2, which is a really useful pedal, because not only can you tune string by string, but you can actually strum every string all at once and see which ones are out of whack, and then sort of fine-tune them. So sometimes when you're playing, a gig and your guitar seems out of tune, but you can't really tell which string is out of tune, and you get this short break, or you're not playing, you just kick that thing, strum everything, and you see right away which one you can sort of bring it back into the correct range. When you're using the Polytune mode, it's not that precise, but it will at least get you in the ballpark. So, in those tight situations, it's better than to be completely out of whack. So from there, signal chain goes into the Electro Harmonics Switchblade Plus. It's basically an ABY pedal. So for those who don't know what an ABY pedal is, basically what it does is it receives the signal and then it splits it into two outputs. So you have out A and out B. So the left switch will select from A to B, so this is A, this is B, and this other feature here will allow you to split it into A and B. So basically you have both on at the same time, and this is completely bypassed. So the idea behind this, and there's basically two things you can do. What I do with it is basically I plug this into my Vox AC30, and basically the Vox has two inputs, and each input has two levels of resistance. So you have the top boost low high, and you have the normal low high. So they're basically two separate channels, if you will. And there's nothing that allows you to switch from one to the other. Like, they're four physical switches. I don't have my AC30 around, but basically there are four inputs, not switches. So what you can do, since you can't switch between them from a pedal or something, you use this box here, and you have two outs, and you plug into one on each side, and then you can switch them or have them both on at the same time, which is really cool. Or the other thing you can do with this, and I could do that, I do that sometimes there at the practice spot, is I'll have two amplifiers. So if you look quickly right now, I only use one of those plugged into the orange. I could, for example, put the other one in the crate down there, or even the line 6 over here or whatever, and that would allow me use both amps at the same time, or switch from one amp to the other. Some guys do that. Personally, I don't. This pedal here is not part of the signal chain per se. It's Hosa FSC 385 switch, and basically all it does is it activates the reverb and the tremolo on my AC30. So on the orange it serves no purpose, but on the AC30 it's really useful. The reason I didn't get the Vox pedal is because the Vox pedal was like 90 bucks and this was 16, so yeah. Now back to the other side. So basically back to the noise suppressor, there's a send and a return. Basically that's where, this is the signal chain that is being affected by the noise suppressor circuit. So when we go from the send, the first pedal it goes to is the MXR Distortion 3. I use this for like a lighter distortion. Then it goes into the Marshall jackhammer, which I use for heavy distortion. And then it goes back to the MXR Microamp M133 here, which is basically a boost pedal. So when you look at the three pedals together, basically I will use the MXR Distortion 3 for punk rock, certain 90s alternative, things like that. When I'm playing retro and I need a little bit of distortion, I'm going to use the dot boost channel on the Vox directly. If I'm playing with the orange, then I'll just use the boost pedal. It gives me a little crunch and it works okay. Sometimes what I'll also do, if I'm using either one of these two, MXR or Marshall, and I need a little extra boost for solos or something, then I'll kick in the Microamp. And sometimes I'll use these two together. The two MXRs, when they're coupled together, make this really, really great like new metal distortion, especially with the this guitar, the Seymour Duncan Blackout Mick Thompson signature pickup. It gives a really great sound. So yeah. By the way, the reason why the signal chain goes from here to there, and then back to there is because basically when you have a boost pedal, you want it at the end of your distortion, so it amplifies the already distorted signal, so it's more effective. So basically that's why it's at the end of the signal chain. And why I had to bring it that way is because basically when I'm soloing and I need this thing, I'm also using the wah pedal, so I want both of them to be sort of close together. Otherwise it can get into a messy feedback. Even with the noise suppressor, sometimes the feedback is just so strong you need to disengage the boost pedal as soon as possible. So that's sort of why it's built that way. And yeah, basically, oh yeah, the reason why you want the digital delay pedal after the noise suppressor but not into the noise suppressor circuit is because basically the sort of feedback and hum that you want to get out of the digital delay is going to get crushed if you run it through the noise suppressor circuit. So that's why you put it right after that pedal, but out of the circuit. Then we'll move to this side. So I didn't really talk too much about how this thing was powered. So there it is. The power supply, I'll unplug this so it's a little clearer. So there you go. The power supply is actually mounted directly in the pedal board. So I routed a hole for it, and I, pushed all the wires in. And then these little LEDs light, so it's really cool. What I'll do now is I'll flip the pedal board around and you can sort of better tell how it's been built. There you go, so now it's been put on its side. So you can sort of see how it's built. It's basically a wooden pine frame with a little step here and two little rails there. Oh yeah, there's a wah pedal. GCB 95F. So there you go. There are little railings here to hold the wah pedal in. So basically there's a lot of framing that's been added, so it's a lot tougher. All the wires are routed cleanly behind the rails, held with tie wraps. I got a bunch of little rubber feet at the bottom. This is the Manseau power station, so yeah, I was talking about that. You can tell how it's been routed inside the frame. Basically this thing was an afterthought. I wasn't going to have that at first, and then I needed it, so I bought it, and I had to fit it on, so I just routed it in there, and there you go. Put little rubber feet. This has been exactly calculated, so this and these little steps, so the board is a bit angled, come at exactly the same height, so then the feet are lined up, and there's pressure here, there's pressure in the middle there, and there's pressure there. so it's fairly solid. It holds well. And that's it. That's my pedal board. I hope you guys enjoy, and have a good day.